Yo, what is going on, YouTube? This is Andrew here, back with a really exciting match. This is week 1 of the playoffs in the ISL. I know I stopped uploading these things, but I always kind of planned to come back for the playoffs, and here I am, round 1, I guess round 2, because there was kind of a wild card play-in game, and I'm playing the winner of one of those games, which is Hayden and his Calgary Flamethrowers. Hayden's a good friend of mine. Really good battler. His team is super scary. I'm going to run down that real quick. You should see that on the right side of your screen. He has the Blastoise, Komala, Mega Ampharos, Lando T, Metagross, Terrakion, Dusknoir, Volcarona, Serperior, Umbreon, and Seviper. Now, there are no Z moves in this league, so something like a Lando T or a Terrakion or a Volcarona is less scary than it would be, but still, those are 3 insane threats to any team. Serperior, I feel like my team has enough answers for. If it came, it would maybe be Scarfed for a Greninja, but I don't know. It's just not too big of an issue, I feel. The Volcarona, I kind of tried to prep around that thing, make sure it couldn't get a setup off. Lando T is a Lando T, could be Scarfed. Terrakion, definitely the biggest issue to my team. That thing, if it's Scarfed, just runs through my team. I mean, Stone Edge, if you look at the team I brought, there's not really a better team that I could have brought. My whole team just gets destroyed by Scarfed Terrakion, except for one Mon that you're going to see later. You can probably just pick it out from the 6 here, but I'm just going to run down my team real quick. I start with the Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black, I mean, obviously really great Mon. I went with a modest, sort of more wall breaker-y set with Ice Beam and Earth Power. Ice Beam is going to be my spammable move. Fusion Bolt, even modest, because I do have that minus attack nature, will 2 KO a Blastoise most of the time. If he's not leftovers, it's like 100% of the time. Rock Slide, because I can take hits from the Volcarona. That thing's definitely not setting up on me, and if it gets out of hand, I can possibly take like a +2 Fire Blast, I think, because I invested a little bit. Definitely would have to check on that, but the Rock Slide there is gonna kill that thing even without the attack. But I tried to kind of set up my team so that thing could not set up. I changed to Modest a little bit last minute because of one Mon you're going to see right here that is Swellow. Before I get into that, the 148 speed allows me to outspeed a max speed Metagross. He does have a bit of a speed jump from Metagross up to Lando T, I think. So I didn't really worry about outspeeding the Lando T. If it comes fast, it'll probably be Scarfed. But anyway, the reason that I went Modest is because of the Swellow right here. I have Tailwind on it. And definitely, if it comes down to it, he has like 3 Mons left. Maybe one's a Terrakion, so it's faster than me. I can go for the Tailwind with Swellow, and just, I mean, Kieran's going to run through his team. Also, Spec Swellow just wall breaks like a motherfucker. Heat Wave for a possible AV Metagross. Boom Burst does enough to Terrakion, it's almost a 2-hit KO. U-Turn just for momentum. I have a few momentum gainers here, and obviously that Tailwind, mostly for the Kyurem, but it could maybe help out Buzzwole, or if he has a Scarf Terrakion, it could help my Greninja or Thundy to outspeed it. Next we have a Thundurus. Thundurus is the Scarfer on my team to outspeed a Volcarona, so at +1 I will outspeed a Volcarona. I can smack it down. I'm naive, so I'm not going to be taking hits too well. So I definitely want to outspeed there, go for the smackdown. That doesn't kill, but Volcarona does not get free setup against my team. And also a smackdown would put it in range of a Water Shuriken from Greninja, as you're going to see. I have the U-Turn, Thunderbolt, HP Ice for a Scarf Lando potentially. I mean, just for Lando in general. And I have U-Turn because I don't want to have to predict too much around Volt switching versus HP Icing. T-Bolt also good for just a Blastoise, just spamming against his team in general. Greninja coming up next, we got Specs, Water Shuriken. That's going to be good for a Scarf Lando, good for a setup. a set up Volcarona, even though, it's going to hit on the special side, and if that thing's boosted, it won't do too much, but, Specs is going to help me out. And also good for a Terrakion, whether it is Scarfed or whether it is, Agility or Rock Polish or whatever. I don't actually have a water move other than Shuriken, so the spammable move I'm going to pick is a Dark Pulse. His Dark Pulse answer is Terrakion, and Terrakion is not a Greninja switch in. He also has the Umbreon. Umbreon's a bit of an issue for this, but I do have the U-turn. I think in prep I kinda under-prepped for the Umbreon because my only answer, as you're going to see here, is Buzzwole with the superpower. Foul play, obviously going to do nothing. I mean, my defense is just insane, even though my attack is also pretty good. But yeah, the superpower is going to do a lot to that. But also, I need Buzzwole. I need Buzzwole really bad for that Terrakion. Nothing he does is going to hurt me too much. If he's not Scarfed, I'm not as scared for my Swellow, my Greninja, my Thundy, or my Excadrill. But if he is Scarfed, this thing just destroys it. I mean, it comes in on a Stone Edge or whatever, close combat, gonna do negative damage. I have the leftovers, and then I can go for a substitute, seeing what he wants to switch into. He could maybe switch into a Volcarona, predicting a fighting move, and think he could set up, or think he could just get a free fire hit off, which would be really annoying for my team. But if I set up a sub on the switch, I have that Rock Slide for it. Also, if he goes into Lando T, Substitute prevents him from breaking my sub with anything barring a flying move. Even Max Attack Adamant, he cannot break my sub with a Stone Edge, which would be his hardest hitting move, I believe. And I can just Ice Punch that thing down. Whatever he switches into isn't going to appreciate Ice Punch plus Superpower. The only way, if I have a sub up, would be for him switching back and forth, whatever. Anyway, this thing's really, really important to the team this week. So I definitely want to keep it healthy and save it for the Terrakion. Next we have Excadrill here. Now, important to note, throughout all of prep and during the game, I made a huge mistake, which was just having a total brain fart and thinking that Landorus T was levitating and not just a flying type. So I said, oh my god, Scarf Mold Breaker Excadrill, I mean with Earthquake, is just going to tear through his team. He doesn't have... His ground resist is superior, and I don't think that thing's coming. Obviously, if I would have thought about it, his ground resist is Landorus, because it's an immunity. But also, this thing is good because it outspeeds a +2 Mega Ampharos. I originally was adamant because of the whole no ground resist thing, but then I realized that Timid Mega Ampharos at +2 would have outsped me, so I had to change to Jolly. Earthquake, Iron Head, Toxic, mostly for an Umbreon switch, or a Lando T that's defensive, or, a Blastoise. And then Rapid Spin, just in case he tries to get up hazards on me. They're real annoying for the Thundy, the Swellow, and the Kyurem. One of the main issues with my team is lack of good hazard removal, compared with the amount of rock weaknesses I have. But, that's just a drafting thing, and I've made do. I've made playoffs. We're going to see how it does against Hayden here. He's a good battler, and we're going to get right into that in a second. Alright, and we are back here with the game. As you can see, he brings the Lando T, the Terrakion, the Mega Ampharos, Umbreon, Seviper, and Kamala. Now, I didn't really expect the Seviper and Kamala, but I don't think they're too big of issues. Kamala is obviously his hazard remover. I didn't even bring hazards on this team. So that thing is, not the most useful for him. Seviper, I don't know what it wants to do. Maybe it could be an issue. Just poison and fire, hit my whole team neutrally if he has the flamethrower for my Excadrill. But looking at the team, I believe I just want to lead with Greninja because a Scarfed Landorus can't kill me, and anything else I outspeed. If the Terrakion is in, that's good for me. I switch into the Buzzwole and I get a sub up. But yeah, I'm just going to lead with Greninja. I can probably get a U-turn off on anything. He leads with the Kamala, so yeah, I am just going to go for that U-turn. I do think for a second about Scarf Kamala. He's brought that in the past, but it's not. And I can see from that he is, I believe, max HP. He goes for U-turn. That does nothing because my Buzzwole is max defensive. He goes into Landorus, and I'm like, all right, this thing must have a flying move, or else he legitimately cannot touch me in any way. He goes for a U-turn. So yeah, I was predicting that flying move going into the Thunderous. I could go for an HP Ice after that. He goes into Viper. Here's where I realize it's not easy to switch into this thing. I realize if he has no bulk, I actually have a chance to kill him. But this damage here, this pitiful damage, shows me that he is, and then the damage returned from him is max Spadef with an Assault Vest. And he's also max special attack modest to do that much with a flamethrower. I am naive, so it did more than it, otherwise would have. But the flamethrower did so much. He was predicting a, Excadrill to come in, which would make sense. But I really can't risk Excadrill coming in. Nothing else comes in on a Sludge Wave from max special attack modest, even though he's not a boosting item. And here's where I'm like, oh my god, I need to weaken this thing. I need this thing weakened for the rest of my team. I go for another T-Bolt, and he just stays in, finishes me off with a Sludge Wave. Could have switched out an Excadrill there. But here, I just want to go into something that threatens his team. I go into the Kyurem. I know I can finish him off with whatever. He could maybe go for a Sucker Punch, but that's going to do nothing. And then I'm thinking afterwards he's going to go into his Terrakion, which is kind of what I'm wanting to bait out. So I am going to go for this Ice Beam, just kill off this Viper, not really reveal anything about my set. And he does go into the Terrakion, which is great. I can switch into the Buzzwole. I'm expecting close combat because he doesn't want to miss. This shows that he is max attack, no boosting item, so I'm thinking Scarf at this point. I go for the substitute, just like I planned. He goes into Lando T, boom, I can get off an Ice Punch. I think it's at this point he realizes, hey, I don't have a flying move. I have no way to break this thing's sub. He just U-turns out. He doesn't want his Lando to get weakened. He goes into the Komala, I'm assuming just to sack it, and then just get a free switch into whatever. But he ends up pulling a double back into the Lando T. I'm not predicting here. He cannot break my sub, and I am either going to get a beautiful Ice Punch off on this thing, with him trying to break my sub with Stone Edge. But, I mean, Earthquake's going to probably not even break my sub after a U-turn. He goes for another U-turn. That's not going to come close to breaking my sub, even at -1 defense. I just go for the Ice Punch again, and here I'm just going to go for the Superpower again. He can, switch around all he wants. I'm getting back up to full. He ends up just sacking the Kamala here, as I thought he probably should have done immediately. But I did see the damage on Lando, which showed that he was not minimally bulk invested, if anything. He goes into the Ampharos here. Sorry, kind of got off track there. He goes into the Ampharos at -3, which I was. I get the defense boost, not the attack boost from Beast Boost there, which is fine. I knew that in prep I needed max defense for the Terrakion. But yeah, I'm going to switch straight on to the Excadrill. This is a prime opportunity for him to set up. Ice Punch is going to do nothing at -3. I mean, Ampharos is really bulky. So I'm going to go straight into my Excadrill. I don't think he would go for the Focus Blast. I'm behind a sub. He's either going for the T-Bolt or he's going for the Agility. Here, he shows that he goes for the Agility. You're going to see in a second. And boom. Now I am thanking my stars that I changed from Adamant to Jolly, because I can just outspeed this thing, hit him with an Earthquake, and he will die. Now he goes into Lando T. Still at this point, I'm thinking that for some reason I can hit him. Look at this thing. Look at this Landorus, and tell me that that thing is a flying type. No, he's just levitating. He's 4 legs on, he's just levitating off the ground. It seems like Earthquake should be able to hit him. I know it doesn't, and I have known that for however long, but for some reason in prep, I didn't realize that. But even so, Earthquake wouldn't do much if I was able to hit him, if it was under gravity or something. I believe that I just go into Swellow here. I don't think he would go for a rock move, just a U-turn. Alright, sorry for that cut right there. He's going to go into Umbreon, which, if he's Spadef, actually kind of walls the rest of my team, apart from Buzzwole, obviously. But I'm just going to go for a Boom Burst here, gauge the damage. He can't kill me with anything. That shows that he's defensive, not Spadef, which is amazing. He can't really switch out into the Terrakion because he still takes like half from a Specs Boom Burst. Now he goes into Terrakion. I am going to go for the Boom Burst. Scout whether he's Scarfed or not. I have no reason to save this thing. He ends up getting crit. Now, this crit is important because it puts him in range of 2 water shurikens from my Greninja. Buzzwole just walls out the rest of his team. I'm looking really good to come away with a victory here. He goes for a rock polish. Now I'm thinking, all right, the crit means he can't set up an SD, which is what he would really need to break through my Buzzwole. He just goes for an Aerial Ace, and I'm like, oh crap, Aerial Ace is going to do a lot to my Buzzwole. Should be able to take one just because I'm max defensive. But here, I really I'm debating this. I'm like, all right, Water Shuriken should just clean up the game here. I calc 2 hits should kill the Terrakion 100% of the time unless he's bulk invested. If I was smart, I would have calced the Boom Burst damage. I think that crit, because I did have the Boom Burst calc up, but the crit kind of threw me off, and for that reason I didn't realize he does have bulk investment. As you're going to see here, I go into the Greninja, and I'm like, alright, I'm just going to clean up the game with Water Shuriken. First one does 21%, and activates Weakness Policy. Now, I get the second hit here. I am just straight up in panic mode right here. I'm like, I see the Weakness Policy, I see the Water Shuriken not do enough, and I'm like, oh my god, please get 3 hits. If I get 2 hits here, the Terrakion will live. As you'll see, he's at 5% right now. Nothing has happened though. We don't know if I got the 3rd hit. And he might kill my Buzzwole with an Aerial Ace, and then close combat to just clean up the rest of my team. He, I don't know what to say. He's going to go for close combat here, and maybe just sweep my team if I don't get this 3rd hit. Please, can we get the 3rd hit? That crit gave me a false sense of security, and if I would have just went into Buzzwole, I would have had the game won. But as you're going to see here, I only get 2 hits, and this Terrakion has close combat. He has +2 Aerial Ace. I just have to hope and pray that Buzzwole lives a hit. It's max defense, and Buzzwole comes through. Buzzwole comes through, lives that hit, goes for an Ice Punch, gets a defense boost, and now I'm just looking so good. The Landorus, there's no way he can pick a move that he's scarfed into to beat my team. Can't kill the Kyurem. I can just go for Ice Punches. He can't even kill my Buzzwole. I'm at +1 defense, and Buzzwole comes through, wins me this playoff game by itself, and thank you. Oh my gosh, my only answer to Terrakion, my only answer at the end of the game, my only hope. I almost lost that game because of my own crit and giving me a false sense of security, but I do come through and I win that game. Moving on to what I believe is the semifinals up next. I don't know who I'm playing at this point, but I'll definitely bring you that game next week, and I hope you're excited. I hope you leave a like for that close, intense game, and subscribe if you ever want to see more content from me in the future. Just wow, I'm still trying to get over this game. It was crazy. Thanks for watching.